Hey, everyone. Coach Curtis Phelan here, doing a quick live. Sorry, a little later today, and I'll explain why during this training, because resistance showed up. So if you're watching, so I started last week. I started doing videos again after years of not doing anything. Um, and I'm going through a program called Secrets of Success. If you want to learn about it, just go back through last week's videos. But so we're on module 2 today, and I'll be sharing what I learned today. And I hope everybody's doing great today. I hope everybody's feeling good. I'm thrilled to hang out with you here, all day. No, it's just going to be, probably 15 minutes or hopefully or something like that. But we're going to do a deep dive into module 2, like I said, in the Secrets of Success program that I'm going through. Before we jump into that, I just like if you get a chance, if you haven't watched the videos from last week, Monday through Friday, I went through module 1 day at a time, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you did your homework from Friday, how it helped you or benefited your life, any intuition that came up or insights that came up for you. So we kicked things off by discussing resistance. Those obstacles that pop up when you're pursuing your calling, or something that you're passionate about. I always tell coaches, like I coach coaches, when you decide to become a coach, or you decide to build a business or whatever it is you decide to do, achieve a goal, something internally or externally is going to try to challenge you. It's going to try to get in your way. And it could be anything. Like I said, it could be external, something you have no control over. It could be something internal. And I believe that's God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, challenging you to see if you're worthy. Really, is this something you truly want, or are you just saying you want it? Right? Let's test and make sure that this is something that you're going to fulfill upon and share with the world. So, how did your time study go? Your time study exercise go? If you don't know what that is, go back and watch. I think it was Thursday or Friday. I went over that. Were you able to pinpoint when or how resistance hits or shows up for you, or gets in your way, slows you down, or stops you from achieving the things you wanted to achieve last week? Real easy. Just review all the things that stopped you, slowed you down, got in your way from achieving your goals last week. If you achieved your goals, great. Congratulations. Give yourself a high five, right? Pat on the back, whatever. Right? But feel free to share, below, or comment or ask questions. It'd be great, or like, whatever. If you don't like it, great. Don't like it. If you hate it, hit a hate. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't hit hate. But if you do hate it, you hate it. But so reflecting on my own experiences, even with a busy week, I noticed how resistance really intensified as I approached deadlines. Right. So for me personally, I have to set deadlines. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So despite being excited about this week and doing a video today for everybody, resistance really was showing up for me today, and it showed up in kind of positive ways, but it was resistance, right? And it was, my calendar was full. Woke up to full bookings, all day. And then somebody one of my mentors wanted to have dinner, take me to dinner, and I'm like, so like that's a good thing, but I have like all this stuff I want to accomplish today, and I haven't done the video yet this morning, and all this stuff. So the resistance was showing up in positive ways, but it's still resistance, right? It could have kept me from, I made a decision, I made a commitment to do these videos, for a few weeks and teach what I'm learning to help more people. And there's resistance, right? Things start, you open that up to the universe. The universe is going to challenge you. It's going to put more on you. It's going to grow you as a person. Are you the type of person that is worthy of accomplishing all these things? So anyways, it made me think about, an ongoing challenge of overcoming resistance, and how many of you asked about overcoming it. Different people use different tools to overcome, resistance. But I'll share kind of what works for me and a lot of my coaching clients. Now this it's kind of got a bad origin, not bad, I don't know. It's got a negative origin. It came from a study done with the Mexican cartels. Okay, so they had a lead or gold, right? Or you could say a bullet or the money, whatever, like a lead or gold deadline, right? So that's what we talked about. I learned this from Gary Halbert. He's a marketer. But the idea is to create a deadline that feels urgent. Okay, but it's got to be serious. It has to be. You have to make it not just a deadline like I need to get this done by this, but a life or death deadline. Like you truly believe that you're going to die, the world's going to end, you know, if I don't get this thing done. And you got to make a decision, either yes or no. I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. So I'm looking at my notes and not at you guys. So I apologize. So if I'm not looking directly at you in the camera. So anyways, you got to trick your mind into taking these tasks very, very seriously, life or death, right? The lead, right? The bullet, or the gold, the money, right? The pleasure or pain, right? And you got to make it real. So for me, I have to set concrete deadlines, okay? Even if it feels unrealistic. Like there's no, like I thought there was no way I could get this video done today. I found a way, okay? But you got to create that sense of urgency. You got to put it out there in the universe. Tell people you're going to get something done. If that motivates you, it might not motivate everybody. For me, I have to schedule everything. I learned early on from one of my original mentors, Tony Robbins. He told me if it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. So schedule it, right? So you got to schedule everything. Like if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, you know, I used to be into people pleasing a lot, and I tell people yes, 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 yes. Like I'd yes people to death, and I wouldn't get things done because I didn't put them on the calendar. Like I didn't schedule them to actually happen. So I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I was just doing that to people please, right? I don't do that anymore. I say, you know, like I said, my mentor called me in the middle of this chaos today, right? And call after call after call after call, and he caught me right before a call, like 5 minutes before my next call, and I had to stop and look at my calendar and say, wait. And he's like, I'll buy. And I'm like, no, it's not that. I need to make sure that it can go on my calendar. Like I structure my days, no matter what. So anyways, so that's what I did. So I scheduled this video to do this video on my calendar, which is something I never did before. And it's probably another reason why I never, I'm very inconsistent with videos. I don't have it scheduled. I just don't. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a video tomorrow. It's not on the calendar. It's not going to happen. Like, there's so many distractions in the world, and things just get overwhelming, So anyways, I had like less than an hour. I had like 20 minutes to put this together and probably 30 minutes to get it out that I created. And here we are. So anyways, but that tool helps me. For my clients, like I mentioned, one of the tools that I use a lot with coaching clients is, what is something you love to do, right? That would be a reward. And then are you willing, if you don't get it done by this deadline, right? Like I've had people, I've told them, listen, if I don't have your homework, we're not doing a coaching call next week, and you're paying for that coaching call, right? Or I've had people say, well, okay, so are you really committed to that goal? Are you really committed to that action? Are you really committed to calling that person and doing that? Great. If you don't, I find out obviously earlier what's important to them, but I can remember a specific instinct where one of my clients is a big avid golfer. This is when I was out in California in San Diego, and I don't know how much his golf clubs cost, but they were nice. It was very expensive, and I said, listen, if you don't get this done, are you willing to mail me your golf clubs, right? And now he did it, but he was willing to, and he would have, right? And I've had people say, well, you need to write me a check, right? Or you do this, something that's painful for them, whatever it is for them that's painful. Like if they didn't do it, you can't do this, or it just depends. Everybody's different, right? So you got to find out what's important for you. But for some people, it's something they're going to miss out on or lose. For some people, it's something they want to do, like they do something every day after work, and they're not going to be able to do that. Or, for some people, it's simple. It depends on your motivation level. Some people, it's simple, like, okay, so if you don't get that done first thing, like if you don't go to the gym first thing in the morning, you can't go buy Starbucks on the way to work, right? Something's like that. It just depends on the level of importance, right? But something like that, it has to be the lead or the gold, right? So enough on that. So we'll dive deeper into these things in Module 2 here, building on what we discussed from last week in Module 1. I'm really excited to explore this topic with you all. Really, my intention is for us to share our experiences with each other, how it affects us, what I'm learning, what I'm sharing here, and how it affects you. And so we can kind of do this journey together this month, and learn some stuff. Maybe you know some of the stuff, maybe you don't. Maybe it's helped you, maybe it hasn't. But love to hear from you, comment or DM me, So have you made any changes in your environment? If you recall from, I think that was Friday, part of the homework, is, changing your environment to tackle resistance. Okay? It's amusing because during the last training, I shared how my default resistance coping mechanism was grabbing my phone and it just went off, right? So, and I got what happened, it's either grabbing my phone because I have a 13-year-old son and he plays video games all the time. I do play video games so I can kind of be on pace with him. And he lives an hour and a half north of me, so he's not here every day. So one of the things we do once in a while is we play video games. So I started using video games as a distraction, as resistance, right? Or eating food for a while. It was eating food. I feel uncomfortable. I feel that resistance. I know I should be doing this, but I don't feel comfortable, so I grab some food. I've cleaned out my kitchen. Like, there's no food. Like, literally. Like, I have protein shakes, meal replacement shakes, and factor meals. No sweets, no nothing. Completely cleaned it up. And so, and I catch myself, once in a while. I did it earlier. I had a sweet tooth. There's nothing in that. Like, there's nothing. I can eat this paper. That's about it. There's like nothing in this house to eat for sweets, right? And it may sound insane for most people, but it is what it is. I know sweets will show up at some point, but it's, I was 46 pounds overweight. I had to lose that weight, and I had to get back strength after having a lot of damage done after an accident, and that's what had to be done. So it was done, right? And again, my meals are scheduled now, So, anyways, so my phone. So the phone, I took off. So I got two phones. And see, the other one's in the drawer, so I can just grab it. But this one has social media on it. This one does not. Okay? So when I do social media stuff on the phone now, it's supposed to be on there. But over the weekend, I caught myself. You probably saw it. I went to, some people invited me to, it was a Beer Fest concert thing in Bonita Springs, which is just north of here. And I wanted to go live, and it wasn't on there. So I had to downloaded Facebook to do it. So I made it real quick, but and I still have it on there. So I need to take it off. All right. So anyways, so that's over there. I'll do that later. Okay. So anyway, so it worked for a while, but you catch yourself out without the other phone, and there you go. So anyways, what else do I have here for notes? Yeah. So anyways, enough on that. So we've touched on resistance. If you don't know what resistance is, you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the videos from last week. They're all really short. Today will be a little bit longer. So what we're going to do is let's focus on defining our purpose and our direction. That's what we're going to do today. So what are you pursuing? What is your definite purpose? So a lot of people in life, because they lack a clear purpose, they're in motion, but not progressing, right? They're taking a lot of action. They're just not making progress. They're not making any real achievement, right? So for example, if you have a business or you're a coach or something like that, and you're doing a lot of work, like you're like, man, I don't know where the time went. I'm doing all this work. I'm doing this, that, and the other thing to build my business, but you didn't get a new client, or you didn't coach a client, or you didn't get a referral. It's all about growing your business. Business is business, whatever business you're in. If you're not making progress, you're just in the motions, okay? So Napoleon Hill in the book Outwitting the Devil, which, by the way, if you don't have it, you can go to YouTube, look up Outwitting the Devil. People have recorded the audio on there for free. You can just listen to it. It is freaking mind-blowing, okay? But it tells that 98% of the population is stuck in a hypnotic rhythm, just kind of going in circles without a definite purpose. And that's resistance's goal. That is the devil, Satan, resistance, whatever you want to call it, the negativity, energy in the world, whatever. Okay, that's its goal, is to make us a drifter, right? Just not having a definite purpose and just kind of drifting through life. And that's its aim, right? So making you a drifter and not driven. Sorry, watching the landscapers out here. Anyways, so until you have a very clear purpose, progress is very challenging to achieve without that purpose. And then if you've given a purpose and you don't take action, life gets really difficult. I've experienced that a lot in my life. So to explore this, let's use the framework that I love. It's called the hero's journey. I don't know if you've heard of the hero's journey. You probably have, but it's how movies are created and things like that. It's the storyline found in myths across different cultures. It was studied by Joseph Campbell. George Lucas even used it and he applied it in the movie in Star Wars, the whole Star Wars series. It's all the hero's journey. So I believe it's hard copied or hardwired into our DNA. The hero's journey kind of serves as a map for success, it's there, but it's hidden in plain sight. But it's in all of us. Okay, it's there. So we'll delve into different aspects of the hero's journey in other modules, like other weeks, but and we'll tie them all together to your journey for success. But today, what we'll do is we'll start with the concept of the ordinary world. Okay, so think about your current surroundings, right, and then where you wake up, where you eat, your current ordinary day-to-day life, right, and let's journey together to define our purposes and break free from that hypnotic rhythm that most of us go through, right? Most days it's like autopilot, right? You're just going through the motions, going through the day. You get up, you have your coffee, you do this, you do that, you go to work, you come home, you flip on Big Bang Theory or whatever, right? It's one of my favorite shows. Or Young Sheldon, right? I compete with them both. Something like that. And that was another thing. It was totally distracting for me. I was watching way too much TV, so I got rid of all of it. I only stream things now, so I schedule that. When am I going to watch Young Sheldon? Not when it comes on, when it's available on Netflix or what have you. So anyways, enough on that. So what was I going to say? Yeah. So the experiences that shaped you up to this point, they define who you are now. Ben Hardy highlights an intriguing concept. He suggests that your subconscious mind represents not your potential, but your current reality. Okay. So this is your ordinary world reflecting who you have become so far. Okay, it's what's ordinary for you. Okay, everybody's different. So perhaps there was a time, right, when you were at a different level, a unique journey to become something different. Maybe at some point in your life growing up, maybe you wanted to be a professional football player growing up, or baseball player, or a singer, or an actor, or something, right? A fireman or doctor, right? I've had a lot of mini journeys in my life, right? It was first it was I wanted to be a bodybuilder when I was young, and then it was then I ended up becoming a Marine. So I've had little journeys in my life, but when I left the Marine Corps, I had no specific goal because initially that was as far as I could think, become a Marine, and I didn't go past that. Like, what's after that, right? So once I left the Marine Corps, I had no specific goals. I just jumped into, I don't want to make this too long, but I got a really cool job here in Naples. I moved down here after I got out, and I really didn't have a goal. And I had a lot of opportunities offered. There was, Naples here was growing at like, it wasn't growing yet, but over those years it started to grow. There's a lot of opportunities, but I had no specific definite purpose or no goals, and just drifted through life. I became a drifter and not a driven achiever. After that, it was like that was my height of my life. Okay, so that's when my new hero's journey began. I pursued personal development, and eventually that turned into being a coach and reaching different levels along the way. Okay, so being in your ordinary world is not inherently negative. Okay, it simply represents your current state of being, who you're being. So, and it's shaped by your past hero's journeys. Okay, so you're on one right now. You're on a journey right now. If you're here seeking progress or listening to me, there's something in you that's calling you to learn more. Maybe there's something you're going to hear that's going to, turn a light on for you or help you reevaluate your journey or something like that, right? About your personal achievement, your philosophies, whatever. So recognize that you're in the midst of your own hero's journey, right? You're in your own book or your own movie, right? And you're the creator of that, by the way, okay? So let's explore how the hero's journey unfolds. The hero typically begins in their ordinary world, right? They're just an ordinary person, and then comes the call to adventure, right? Um, what is this call to adventure? Okay, it's not necessarily someone telling you, specifically to start a business, become a coach, or do whatever. Okay, more often it's a desire or an inner pull or just this inner feeling, right? That's pulling you towards something. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think I should be doing something else or something, or this is interesting over here. I think I need to look further into this, right? So that desire, it starts to ignite a spark, okay? And it grows into a flame. And then it becomes all consuming, okay? Then it's a direction, okay? And it's not yet crystal clear, but it starts stirring up in you, okay? So that your ordinary world, it still holds that desire for something more, something greater, something bigger, right? And you can probably think of some movies where you've seen this, right? But the challenge is to identify and choose a definite purpose from the desire. So you have this call, you have this desire, and you need to decide what's that definite purpose that I'm going to pursue, that I'm going to go after, that I'm going to drive towards. This decision, okay, it can be challenging because we don't consciously receive that purpose, right? It's not a conscious thing. We have to do some work, some diving in, and some soul searching, or whatever you want to call it, to uncover that. We're kind of given a desire that tells us in kind of like a motion while we're doing something. So the call to adventure is it's kind of an invitation to pursue a desire, right? It's an internal invitation, I should say, or something that calls you to go into motion, right? All right. Anyways, so let's check my notes here. So, yeah. So desire, is it a one-time thing? From my perspective, it's an ongoing process. It's not like a one-time desire, end all be all. It's a constant. It's a consistent desire to go. You just have this feeling that you need to be something or achieve something. Okay. I believe it comes from God. You can call it your higher power or a higher force, whatever it is for you. For me, it's God, and you'll get tested. It's a test on how we handle it. So you're given the calling, right? That what you're supposed to do, and if you don't take action, believe me, if you don't take action on that calling, you don't step into that calling, you will pay the price. You'll have a very difficult life if you don't step into your calling. To step into your calling, it's going to require faith. Okay? And my faith comes from God. So that calling comes from God. If God calls me to do something and I don't do it, man, he lets me know. Okay? And you might experience that in your life. But it takes a leap of faith. And you got to step into the unknown. And for me, what I learned was, if I believe in God, and I don't take that leap of faith, that means I don't believe in God, right? Because if I believe in God, he's got my back. I'm called to do this. I'm here to serve. And if I don't do it, I am denying or rejecting God. That's how I look at it, okay? So I want you to think about your ordinary world and the desire that has sparked within you. Don't stress if you feel kind of incapable or not worthy enough initially. The key is to progress, right? Like, every hero's journey, like if you think of the movies, they never think they're worthy enough. Or I just thought about Lord of the Rings. It just keeps coming up, right? So if you've seen Lord of the Rings, one of the characters, I can't think of his name right now, but his father was the king, and he's become a ranger because he doesn't feel he's worthy, and he doesn't trust himself because he thinks, so anyways, that you see that. I don't want to take too much time here, but you see that, and so he doesn't think he's worthy enough to wield the sword. His father's sword was cut in half, and they put it back together. The elves put it back together, but they give him the sword, and he doesn't feel that he's worthy to be king, and he ends up making the decision, even though he doesn't feel worthy to become the king. And I don't ruin the movie for you, but watch the movie, and some great things happen. But anyways, so often people focus on the end goal and find it less fulfilling. Like they think of the end goal, On the journey, when it's the journey, the process is where all the value is, where all the gold is. Okay, it's not in the end goal. Like you've probably heard a lot of people say, well, I thought making a lot of money, or I thought becoming this or becoming that or doing this or having kids or whatever would make, kids might be a little different because it does make you feel pretty fulfilled. But, I thought, when I made all the money, I'd feel fulfilled, and then they're not fulfilled. It's because they were focused on the end goal and not the process. They weren't enjoying the process, as Tony Robbins used to teach me, right? Enjoying the process. So, the true joy really lies in the middle of the journey, meaning who you become on the journey, how you have to grow and develop in your journey when this resistance shows up, to overcome the resistance and overcome the challenges to achieve the reward, to achieve that. It's more important than the reward for most of these people. Like the athletes, it's great winning, I'm sure, well, I've never won a Super Bowl, right? But, what I'm saying, like, that achievement for a lot of those guys, it's more about who they are, who they're being to be, a Super Bowl champion, right? Who they become on that journey, how they develop and how they grow. And it amazes me, I'm in the business coaching world, and I have some, former Super Bowl winners and things like that as business coaches on my team, and it amazes me how they have developed in the type of person they developed into. They crush it in the business coaching world, the business development world, business consulting, things like that, because they learn to be a better person. They learn to connect and build relationships, and they're great with people and running teams, and it's just awesome. So who you become on the journey is vital. That's more important than the goal usually. So consider the familiar feeling of motivation. So this is my notes here. The surge of enthusiasm we often experience, say, after ending an event or undertaking something new. So the challenge, however, lies in the nature of desire and motivation. They fluctuate, okay? So take my coaching journey, for example. So I had the desire to be an excellent coach. Initially, everything seemed exciting. I watched videos, read materials, immersed myself in the industry, right? But as I faced the challenges of building my own business, right after I left Tony Robbins, after we built that coaching department and I went out on my own, I got beaten up, man. And back then, no one knew what coaching was outside of sports. So it was like, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, I'm a result. No one knew what the hell that was. The industry really didn't exist yet. So it was tough, and I got beaten to death, and that self-will, that desire, it dwindled, it really did. The motivation waned. It's a common phenomenon, when people go after something. So the pivotal shift is transforming your desire and your motivation into momentum. Okay? So without that transition, right, having the desire, having the motivation is one thing, but you have to build on that. You have to have momentum going to overcome the times when you don't have the desire, when you don't feel like getting up, when you don't feel like doing that thing. You have to develop the ability to keep the momentum going. Okay? So without that, man, life's challenges, they'll just crush you. Okay? They'll crush your desire and your motivation. So that's crucial. So we often start ventures, like starting a business, like I said, with a lot of motivation, inspired by maybe it's an event in your life, maybe it's somebody you saw doing something, or a speaker, or some type of external factor. Yet, as we encounter setbacks in the process of achieving that thing, that desire and motivation really fades. And it returns us to the ordinary world. It feels easier. Well, I shouldn't say it returns us to, but looking at, hey, maybe I should go back to the way I used to be. Maybe life was a lot easier when I just worked for somebody else, right? That's what stops most people from having their own business or being an entrepreneur. Okay, it's not that they can't achieve it. It's just that lack of motivation, that lack of desire disappears when life gets lifey, gets in the way, right? Things happen. And so, you got to develop that discipline to build that momentum when you don't have the motivation, right? I heard a great quote once. Can't remember his name right now, but commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do after the feeling you set it in has gone. Okay, so let me say that again. Commitment, right? So if you make a commitment, a true decision, decide to achieve something, accomplish something, do something, build a business, what have you, and you make that commitment, it's doing the things that need to be done long after that feeling, that motivation, that excitement This is what happens, has left you. This is what happens to a lot of people. They go to events, right? So they go to a Tony Robbins event or whatever type of event. This is what we see. We used to see this all the time. And then after the event, that excitement, that feeling, that pumped up motivation, it disappears when you got to take care of the kids. You got to go back to work. You got to be around your friends that play at the average level, right? And it's just easier to do that than to keep the momentum going that you got from the event. Or maybe you read something in the book and it sounded really exciting, or you saw something you watched Rocky and you're like, now you want to get in shape or be a boxer or whatever, right? And then you go out and get punched in the face in the gym, right? And then you don't want to be a boxer anymore, right? So I know those are all different, analogies, but you get the idea. So anyways, so to avoid this, we need to propel ourselves from motivation, desire into momentum. So continuous motion towards a goal. The challenge often arises because we lack a clear direction to move forward. We need to know why we're going to go through all this stuff. What's the clear direction to get through this, so that we know when we come out where we're going to be. So, hence, today's focus is on identifying what you're moving toward, a crucial step in creating momentum. So we need to figure out what our calling is, and what is our definite purpose. What are we moving towards in our life, right? So the key is to determine your definite purpose, as Napoleon Hill emphasizes. These are my notes. This concept is foundational in Hill's 17 Laws of Success. Okay, I'll be sharing that later. Definite purpose is not a vague intention like starting a business, but a tangible binary goal, a clear target that's either achieved or not. So this goal provides a direction, preventing you from being stuck in repetitive non-growth patterns. Okay, so if you want to rewatch this, rewatch it so I make more sense. But I want to keep this as short as possible. But reflecting on my experiences, like I said, I discovered my definite purpose in different pivotal moments in life. In coaching, okay, it's when I witnessed. I live in Naples, Florida now, but I don't know where I was at the time. I think I was up in New Hampshire. My brother and I own a car dealership up there, but I had come to an event here in Fort Lauderdale to watch Tony Robbins live. Okay, I had been reading his books, used a lot of his strategies to turn my life around. But it's when I went and watched him on stage and experienced that event, I decided to be a coach. That's what it was. It was using the tools, turn my life around, seeing him on stage, and then hearing that he was going to start a coaching department. He was going to start this industry, so long story short, within 12 months, I was one of Tony's founding coaches. I was sharing an office with his son, Josh. I mean, that's how, when you make that decision, you have that desire, that passion, that calling. For me, it was a calling. Like, I needed to share what had happened to me in my life, what I learned. I wanted to help other people create that in their life and their business. And so within 12 months, from that calling, taking that step forward, having that clarity allowed me within 12 months to achieve that. So the challenges that I had to face, I mean, I'd have to go on and on and on. I do have to end because I have a coach that's an alert, because I have 5 minutes left to get on this coaching call. I have a client, 5 minutes. So the challenges, I could go on and on about the challenges, but I think it was more than 47, but I remember number 47. That might have been a few days in. But, just to become a coach for Tony Robbins at the time, it's very different now. It's not as intense. I had to pack 2 bags, go to California for a month. No idea what's going on, what's going to happen. Am I going to be offered a job? Am I going to make it past day 1? 28 days straight, all day, all night, not 9 to 5, not, hey, the event starts here. It's when the sun comes up, usually before the sun came up till 2 in the morning most nights. Okay, every day for 28 days. It was like going to boot camp in the Marine Corps, although Marine Corps used 12 weeks. So intense. Started out, I remember, I think it was more than 47, but it was like 47 actual people that made it past day 1. And by the end, there was 12 of us that graduated. Like daily, people were getting kicked out. But yeah, kicked out, not leaving. Some quit, gave up because it's hard. But 7 of us were offered jobs, and then they didn't even have clients for us, so we had to go home and then wait for them to get clients, right? Because it was just beginning. So it was like I had to make it happen. But I won't go into that story. That's for another time. But the challenges that I had to face to become a coach, especially after I left Tony Robbins, was astronomical. It crushed most people. Most people don't ever achieve it, make a living at it. It's much easier now, but to actually become a coach, build a business from it, make a really good living from it, it's very, very difficult. So anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. They're trying to get your money. Okay, so having a definite purpose, and we'll end here, shifts you from mere motion to pursuing a goal with intent. It's not about showing up or going through the motions. Okay, it's about actively moving toward a specific achievement. This sense of purpose pulls you forward, providing the light even in challenging times. So the question for you today, okay, is what is your definite purpose? What is your definite purpose? What are you moving toward with clarity and intention? If you're not, you need to figure that out before you do anything else. Okay? What are you moving towards with clarity and direction? It has to be crystal clear with a definite purpose. If you don't have that definite purpose, you might find yourself stuck in motion without meaningful progress. Okay? So what we'll do coming up, probably tomorrow, we'll delve into challenges. It might be next week, but I'll be doing videos each day. But we'll delve into challenges that arise as you gain momentum. But for now, let's just focus on discovering and solidifying your definite purpose. All right, guys, thank you so much. I know today was a little bit long. Hopefully you got something from that. If you did, please like or comment. If you didn't, that's okay. I'll get better and better. I don't do a lot of these, so I just felt called. Some of this stuff needs to get out there. It's not taught anywhere else, really, some of this stuff. And I have a coaching call with Joe right now. So I got to go, guys. Love and appreciate you for watching. Have a blessed day.